king.
So, you think you guys got a lot in common?
Some aspects, yeah. We do.
How are you guys different?
Both.
Terence Crawford recently sought the help of Floyd Mayweather in training as he prepares for his match against Canelo Alvarez in September. He decided to do this early enough as he's not looking to take any other fight in 2025, having an intention to concentrate only on the Canelo Alvarez fight in September.
Hit, not get hit, and to make the adjustments that he's made to certain fighters. You know, he's
Terence Crawford isn't taking any chances against Canelo Alvarez, and rather than train on his own, he's now added the skill and experience of the first man to defeat Canelo Alvarez in the boxing ring. For the sake of the weight difference, Terence Crawford has decided to resume training camp very early. So he adds the weight and tries to get accustomed to it before the fight in September, although he plans on having a short break in the middle of the year. Well, before then, Crawford welcomed Floyd Mayweather to his camp, and they enjoyed a great time together. Expectedly, most of the work Mayweather had to do on Crawford was on his defense. They worked on the shoulder roll, did some footwork, and practiced more body feints. Perhaps Terence Crawford felt this was good enough for him as well, since he had so much to learn about the new weight class he'll be moving to in less than a month. Despite the fact that boxing fans have severally drawn comparisons between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Terence Crawford, Bud refused to deprive the 50-0 boxing champion of his rightful honors.
We both box. I think, I take more chances,
Excuse me, Crawford.
right now, but earlier.
Terence Crawford appreciates Floyd Mayweather, and when he was asked about their similarities, he had a few more things to say as well. "He's the king," Crawford praised and acknowledged Floyd's greatness. He then continued, "We have quite a lot in common in some aspects, but we're a little different because I take more chances." Earlier in his career, he was taking a lot of chances in his career as well. It just depends on which Floyd Mayweather you're talking about. I mean, you're talking about money, or you're talking about Pretty Boy because Pretty Boy was the seeking destroyer.
We both box. I think, I take more chances,
Excuse me, Crawford.
right now, but earlier.
Then, he started having hand injuries, so he couldn't really keep up with the same power, and he was moving up and fighting bigger. Like Crawford said, they have quite a lot in common. However, boxing fans and supporters have compared both fighters to discover the better fighter. When Mayweather fought Canelo Alvarez, the Mexican was 23 years old, while Floyd Mayweather was in his mid-30s. However, Floyd's defense was simply too perfect that Canelo Alvarez could barely connect a punch in 12 rounds. Mayweather has had the accolade of training many great fighters over the years, with the likes of Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, and Gervonta Davis being beneficiaries of Floyd Mayweather's wealth of boxing knowledge. His latest trainee is Terence Crawford, and he did have some words to share with his fans of his time with Floyd Mayweather. Well, you might wonder why Terence Crawford, a professional fighter with 40-fight experience, was seeking Mayweather's help at such a late hour, a few fights away from his retirement. His reason isn't far-fetched, however. Terence Crawford's next fight marks his debut at 168 pounds. As a result, he turned to Floyd Mayweather, who has been a world champion at 5 weight classes, for some lessons. Speaking to TNT Sports Boxing, former 2-time world heavyweight champion Fury agreed that weight was the deciding factor in the contest, giving Crawford a chance to beat Canelo had they met years ago in a lower division, but backing the Mexican at super middleweight, where the contest will absolutely take place should it happen.
For a pay-per-view to watch it.
Is the skill level of Crawford equalize the weight, in your opinion?
I think if they fought, they'd obviously be the same weight, would they not?
Yes.
So, yeah, so...
Here we have Terence Crawford versus Alvarez. Very tough fight. Different weight categories. What weight would this fight happen? I don't know. At 168, I'm going to say Canelo. At 140, I'm going to say Crawford. So I'll go with Canelo. Canelo has categorically ruled out dropping any weight, And that is in line with Bud's goal of testing himself to the limit by moving all the way up to 168, 14 pounds more than his last outing.
So Crawford going from 47 to 68.
Maybe he would bring Canelo down to 60 or 54 or something. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know.
Do you have a favorite?
Whether or not the fight can be made remains to be seen, with the American much more keen, but the Mexican admitting that he will take it for the right price. While Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez is the fight that looks set to be made, Gervonta Davis has now inserted himself into the conversation. Crawford and Canelo have reportedly agreed a deal for the mega fight to take place this year, bringing together two of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the sport. The fight is believed to have come together after the pair met separately with Saudi chief Turki Alalshik in London over the weekend after a year of back-and-forth discussion over whether or not it will happen. While most in boxing are excited at the prospect of seeing Crawford and Canelo square off, it seems that another of the sport's biggest stars isn't that impressed.
Easy work. I heard him say, I'm easy work. If I was easy work, well, you would take all that money that he's offering you.
With Davis apparently not a fan of the fight between Crawford and Canelo, his coach Calvin Ford has also delivered his verdict for how the fight will go. The debate over who would win between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford continues to rage on. The fight would be one of the biggest in boxing, putting together two pound-for-pound greats, although it would require Crawford to make a huge jump up in weight. Gervonta Davis's trainer, Calvin Ford, has now had his say on the potential matchup when speaking with Fight Hype, and appeared to be leaning towards the Mexican.
This Terence Crawford Canelo situation, do you think that's a fight where they could get to a weight that makes sense? Do you think that the weight would affect Terence Crawford?
I mean, Canelo's the king. Whatever he say, you know what I'm saying?
Canelo is the king. It's a good fight, and I'd like to see that fight and the outcome of it. Canelo has been making some good moves for his fights. Ford also discussed the performance of Crawford in his last outing, where he moved up to 154 pounds to defeat Israel Madrimov, but was unable to get the stoppage. It was his first fight. You can't say he didn't carry the power up there. He had to make adjustments. It's like when Benavidez went up in weight. It's based on them making adjustments. I hope Terence Crawford can get another fight at that weight, so he can show the world it's there. If it's not there, then we can start questioning.
But it's a good fight. I like to see that fight, the outcome of it, you know what I'm saying? And then watching Canelo been making some good moves, as far as fights and whatnot,
Ford finished by explaining just why he feels Crawford is chasing a showdown against Canelo. Terence is a bad boy. He's moving up because he wants to get the fight. He isn't getting any younger. He's doing all the stuff he needs to do to put his legacy here. While Crawford has been targeting the fight with Canelo, he has also recently been involved in a war of words with Teofimo Lopez, and their feud is ramped up with a fresh spat on social media.
A question for you, Tank. At 147, how does a fight with you and Terence Crawford look? 147?
Last 2 years, Crawford made a strong case to become the top pound-for-pound boxer in boxing when he destroyed Errol Spence Jr. in their super fight at 147 pounds. Davis, who fights at 135 pounds, was asked how he would fare against the 147-pound Crawford, and Tank believed he could beat the bigger fighter in 6 rounds. 147? You know he is going to sleep. He ain't got no chance. Hey, I got round 6. The jarring weight disparity has become a point of contention in the boxing community, and Mike Tyson shares this sentiment.
Who knows?
That smile's telling me something else, bro. I think it might be on the line, no?
I'm just saying, man, we can't say it's not gonna happen. We can't say that it is.
I don't like that fight, Tyson explained on the Come and Talk to Me podcast on September 20th. Too much weight for Crawford. He had a close fight with the last guy he fought, Israel Madrimov, because he was big and really awkward. He shouldn't have even fought that guy. Tyson makes a valid point. Crawford had one of his toughest fights to date against Madrimov, who was undefeated prior to their encounter. Despite being 5'8", which is taller than Canelo, Crawford has a wiry frame and would probably forfeit mass and strength to compete in heavier weight divisions. Still, Crawford believes he knows what's best for his body.
Terence Crawford calling out Canelo.
I don't like that fight.
Why not?
I don't like that fight. It's just too much weight, and
I think the key is to know when's the right time for your body to move up the healthy way, Crawford told Yahoo Sports before fighting Madrimov. I moved up in weight because I wanted to fight the best guy in the division. Nobody can trump the ambition of a professional fighter, and Crawford might have his chance to shoot for all-time greatness against Canelo soon. The weight disparity will only serve to cement his legacy with a victory.
He had a close fight with the last guy he fought, Terence, because this guy was big and he was awkward. He was really awkward. He shouldn't have fought that guy. He should have fought a guy that would just come straight at him. The guy was too awkward.
He's herky-jerky. Yeah.
It's surprising to see Floyd Mayweather willingly train another fighter after the chaos that happened between him and Gervonta Davis last year. It just shows how much he loves Terence Crawford and how much he's willing to take another big risk. Mayweather and Davis worked closely together, with Mayweather aiming to mold Davis into a superstar. Their relationship was a very strong one, and they shared a mentor-protege bond. However, in April, a few days after the big fight between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, Mayweather went on a rant targeting an unnamed group of boxers. He called them out for not taking the craft seriously and instead focusing on their appearance in the ring. Pretty boy Floyd then used his career as a point of comparison. The athlete argued that they're only looking at the finished product of who he is as inspiration, not the work he put in to get there. A lot of times what these fighters are looking at, they're looking at Floyd with the cars, they're looking at Floyd being flashy, Mayweather expressed. Man, listen, I made so many sacrifices. Y'all are looking at the end results. And when I was champion having hundreds of millions in the bank, I still was on my grind in that gym. Y'all are worried about your outfits, how your boots look, worried about the wrong things. A lot of you fighters are living check to check. Later on, Floyd was asked about the intention behind this video, and then he replied, talking about Gervonta Davis first.
Gervonta is ungrateful when it comes to you.
Well, my thing is, I've always been there for him.
My thing is, I've always been there for him from day one. We had a game plan, and my game plan was to help him become world champion and take Tank to that next level, and I've always been there for him. Over the years, I've always been positive, always said great things about him, always pushed him to be great. But over the years, he's constantly going on the internet to take a shot at Floyd, constantly being disrespectful, when all I've ever been was respectful to try to help this fighter go as far as he could possibly go. That's all I ever did.
And I've always been there for him. And just over the years, you can see I've always been positive, always said great things about him, always pushed him to be great. And,
He then referenced the famous video in which Gervonta Davis accused him of sending an attack. He denied Gervonta Davis's claims and explained his intentions, saying, "A lot of times they like to compare certain fighters and then I say certain things and they say, oh, he's hating. There's no difference from when I talked about the thing with Gervonta."
I need all fighters. I said I need all the young fighters that's making money in the sport of boxing. What I need you guys to do is do this.
For instance, when I said that I need all the young fighters making money in the sport of boxing, and what I need you guys to do is do this. Whether it's Chrome Hearts, Louis, Mercedes, Gucci, we need to take our money and invest in real estate so that we can live the same great life when our careers are over. So, I guess he took that as he's the only one that wears Chrome Hearts, he's the only one that wears Louis Vuitton, he's the only one that wears Mercedes. Last time I checked, we've got fighters all over the world that wear top flight clothes that make good money. Even the fighters that don't make good money find a way to fly jets and fly whips.
We need to take our money and invest in real estate so that we can live that same great life when our careers are over.
Floyd was asked about the top 5 fighters in the lightweight division, and he responded, "As of right now, well, the two guys, the biggest puncher I feel at 135 will probably be Gervonta Davis, but the most skillful fighter will be hands down Shakur Stevenson."
He want to fight the best they got out there. He's asking, can he fight the best? I believe his contract is coming to an end, so hopefully...
Talking about Shakur Stevenson, Floyd Mayweather compared his skillfulness to Pernell Whitaker, who wasn't the heaviest puncher but had the skill set to take on the best and get the better of them. I believe his contract is coming to an end, so hopefully we can come together and I can take him to what he needs and make the fights happen that he wants.
To an end, so hopefully we can come together and I can take him to that next level and give him the fights that he want and make the fights happen that he want.
On the show, Floyd Mayweather was asked about his thoughts after Roy Jones Jr. claimed he deserved to be called the best ever TBE more than anyone else. Responding, he said, "Well, everybody for starters, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and I'm glad Roy Jones feels that way about himself. Every fighter that gave the sport of boxing their whole life and sacrificed a lot inside that squared circle, they should feel that way. So, if he feels that way, more power to him."
That's gave the sport of boxing their whole life and sacrificed a lot inside that square circle. They should feel that way. So if he feels that way, more power to him.
I have one fight, and the fight was at a catchweight. But it wasn't my idea. Anyone can hoe online and pull this up. It was an article, so with Canelo. At one time, I believe Canelo thought I was scared of him, that I was afraid, so he said Floyd doesn't want to fight me. I'm willing to meet him at 152 or 152.5 pounds. And me, I called his bluff and said, if you want to do it, let's do it at 152 or 152.5. But after, Canelo made the weight. It wasn't like it was a certain clause where he couldn't gain weight. He weighed 152 or 152.5. I think he came in at 168 or close to 170, but I came in at 151 or 152. But Roy Jones is one hell of a fighter. He's done a lot for the sport of boxing, and I'm absolutely proud of Roy Jones.
Booth time to take over and start beating the guys around him, prove that he's the best of that group. Bud is in a group above him. Bud don't need to come back down to 47 to meet him. That's crazy.
In an interview with Mill City Boxing, Jones Jr. shared his perspective on this hypothetical clash. While praising Crawford's talent and skills, the legendary boxer leaned toward Canelo as the favorite. I like Terence, but I'm going to lean towards Canelo with his size early. But if he lets Terence get into the fight, Terence is going to be a problem. If Terence can deal with the size, he will beat him. The role of striking power Jones Jr. emphasized the importance of Canelo's punching power as a decisive factor in the fight.
Bud looking to try to make history and get out. Get his big bank and get out. His big bank is who? Canelo. He willing to take that gamble.
That's what I'm saying. We don't know until we see Terence get hit, because we haven't seen him get hit with that power, Jones Jr. said. That's the deciding factor. If you can change Bud's fight plan, you've got a chance of beating him. But if you can't hurt him, you can't change his fight plan, and you've got problems. This analysis underscores Crawford's need to neutralize Canelo's renowned power. If Crawford can impose his technical boxing skills and avoid Canelo's devastating punches, he could stand a chance of pulling off a historic upset. While the potential fight between Canelo and Crawford remains a dream scenario for fans, Canelo Alvarez is currently focused on preparing for his next bout.
If he can beat him, if he beats him, he may go fight Benavidez next. If he don't beat him, he say, okay, I took it as high as I could go. I'm done.
That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy if he gets the win.
International Boxing Federation interim champion William Skull has been mentioned as a possible opponent. This wasn't always the case for Roy Jones Jr., though. The Hall of Fame fighter and current promoter, trainer, and respected analyst Roy Jones Jr. had earlier shared scenarios in which he sees both Terence Crawford and David Benavidez beating Alvarez before going against his former prediction. He began with David Benavidez, saying, "It's a tough fight to call because Benavidez throws a lot of punches. Sometimes power can intervene and make that a different situation," Jones said in an interview with BoxingScene.com.
A little big for Crawford. I'm not sure about that because Crawford does have punching power and shock, but I think Canelo's a little big. He showed tonight that he's pretty big, so I probably would rather see.
The problem is Canelo willing to take the risk? I don't really think he will right now because I don't think he feels like he has a reason to. If he can't hurt Benavidez early in the first 3 or 4 rounds, I don't see him winning that fight. The two-time 168-pound titleist Benavidez has been pounding the table for a crack at Alvarez over the last 2 years. Formerly recognized as the best welterweight in the world, Crawford is open to moving up 2 weight classes for the chance at clashing with the Mexican star. Alvarez, meanwhile, maintains that a win against Crawford would do little for his legacy, even though many are giving Crawford a real chance to score the win.
Charlo fight Crawford first, and then see how that goes. If he does good against Charlo with the weight, then let's see him come up and fight Canelo. Yes, but not right now. I want to see him.
If anybody can do it and pull it off, it's Crawford. So you can't tell him no, said Jones. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, Stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.